straightforward. If you stimulate the economy, if you encourage small business, if you give tax cuts to the middle class, can you get so much economic growth that you begin to move America back on a track where the sheer size of the revenue stream begins to pay down the debt? We did it in the 90s. I'm the only speaker in modern history to author 4 straight balanced budgets. We know it can work because it did work. I think Paul Ryan has the same goal, and I think that President Trump has that goal. It'll take 5 or 6 years, but if this economy starts to roar, you're going to see a flood of money come in, and you're going to see, because the economy's bigger, not because we raised taxes, but because we created jobs.
All right, we do have to talk some weather this morning. Unfortunately, not good news either. The situation, Janice, in California today, we're seeing another round of very dangerous fires, right?
Yeah, and the weather is not going to cooperate, Rob. Unfortunately, low relative humidity in this area, no moisture getting in. So here's the relative humidity forecast. You can see very low relative humidity, and the problem is those Santa Ana winds are going to remain in place not only today but through Friday. So take a look. We have elevated fire danger, red flag warnings in the areas where the fires are out of control and burning right now in Southern California. And when we talk about those Santa Ana winds, it's basically an area of high pressure where the clockwise winds funnel through those canyons and valleys, drying the winds out of very fast winds because of that tight pressure gradients and the increased winds. And that is going to be ongoing at least until Friday, Rob. So we're going to be watching that area. Of course, the rest of the country, cold air moving in towards the East Coast, 24-hour temperature change, 15-degree difference in Memphis than it was this time yesterday. And then the cold air this weekend could bring a little bit of snow across the East Coast. Back to you.
And we're just hoping those winds do die down out there in California.
Very dangerous.
That is a very dangerous situation. Janice, thank you so much.
Okay.
10 minutes after the hour, brand new numbers just in, proving that President Trump is working to make good on one of his most coveted campaign promises.
We have some bad hombres here. We're getting gang members out. We're getting drug lords out. We're getting really bad dudes out of this country.
Our next guest is a former Border Patrol agent who says the numbers are about to get even better. Also, never Trumper, former Republican Senator Jeff Flake, or current one actually, turning his back on his own party to support the Democrat who is challenging Roy Moore in the Alabama Senate race. So is he really putting the country over party? We'll talk about that. And have you sent a text message with an emoji lately? We're going to explain how this could land you in jail, believe it. Okay, welcome back. The Trump administration just beginning physical testing on the southwest border, the wall prototypes this week. This as brand new numbers prove that the president is making good on a campaign promise to crack down on illegal immigration. Border arrests plunging to a 45-year low as deportation arrests soar to new records. And here to weigh in on what all this means is former ICE agent and Border Patrol officer David Ward. Thank you, sir, for coming on this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And we're going to start off with just some information here. Here are the numbers for ICE arrests from this year so far. 143,470 ICE arrests. That's immigration arrests. 226,000 deportations at this point. Now, these numbers indicate a trend upward. That means that we are moving more illegal immigrants out of the country. Isn't that right?
Well, yes. What we have to be cautious of is the numbers of the crossings coming across the southern border. They did drop precipitously in the beginning of the year when President Trump took office. However, right around June, the numbers are starting to creep up. And more apprehensions are being made by the Border Patrol. Now, ICE is doing a superb job on the interior, but again, they need more assistance, more personnel to bring those numbers up.
And let's look at that number here real quick. That's 310,531. What's amazing about that, if we can pull that number up, is that this is actually that's actually a low number of the amount of arrests at the border. And is that in 2016 or is that for this year? I believe that's for this year. Okay, yeah, that's for 2017.
Last year it was in the 400s. Yeah, it was over 400,000.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing to me that 310,000 illegal immigrants arrested at the border is a low number. I mean, it really shows you just how big of a problem this is.
Well, when I was in, it's over 1 million. But we have to be cautious because the cartels and the human trafficking organizations watch everything that we do, and they plan accordingly. So when they see that we have low numbers on the border as far as Border Patrol agents, they will try and exploit that weakness.
Right.
That's why we need to have the wall to secure this nation and bring these numbers down.
And you said that when John Kelly, who was running the show there for a while before he took the job inside the White House, when he left, it emboldened a lot of the criminals and the people that are moving drugs into this country. And let me just clarify something real quick, because a lot of people take a lot of issue with the number of ICE arrests in this country and these ICE raids. And there's a lot of people on the far left that have a real problem with arresting criminal illegal aliens in this country. But that's what ICE does, right? They're not just going after, you know, illegal immigrants in general. They're going after people that come here illegally and then commit a crime in this country.
Well, that's what the detainer program is all about. We're putting detainers on aliens that have been arrested by the local police departments for a crime of some sort besides the crime of coming into the United States illegally. Now, we put detainers on these people to move them out of the country. Did you know that last year over 8,100 detainers were declined by these agencies holding these criminal aliens? So 8,100 were put back out into the street to endanger people like they did to the Steinle family. The sanctuary cities are not sovereign nations. They are part of the United States, and they have to comply with the laws of the United States, including the U.S. Constitution and the laws that our U.S. Congress has passed. These cities and towns and counties that are under the sanctuary movement are not following the law, and they should be held accountable. In fact, they ought to be held liable for anything that their policies have done to hurt U.S. citizens.
All right, and you say the next step is the wall. We will see if that promise can be fulfilled here. It could be tricky. It's a very divided issue. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on this morning.
You're quite welcome.
All right. All right, spreading fake news on social media could soon land you in jail, at least if you live in Ireland. Lawmakers there proposing a bill putting restrictions for online political advertisements that require companies to display a transparency notice for purchased ads. Breaking that law could result in fines of up to $12,000 or up to 5 years behind bars. All right, using emojis could also be a criminal offense. A New Zealand judge sentencing a man to 8 months in jail after he sent his wife, his ex-wife, a message saying, quote, "You're going to expletive, get it," followed by an emoji of an airplane. The judge took it as a threat and charged him with stalking his ex-wife. In other cases, messages with emojis of guns, knives, and even bombs were taken as literal threats as well. So you got to watch what you text. All right, 19 minutes after the hour. Remember this, when a doctor was dragged right off of an airplane? It was a shocking thing to see, and even more shocking, new numbers on air rage incidents are coming up, and they are going up. And Rick Perry living his best life. Carly Shimkus here with the glamour shots that are going viral. I can hear her laughing from across the studio. That's this morning coming up. Stay tuned. Country over party. That message from Republican Senator Jeff Flake, who just donated $100 to Alabama Senate candidate Doug Jones, the Democrat. The move coming after President Trump formally endorsed and battled Republican Roy Moore. That was a controversial one. Carly Shimkus with Fox News Headlines 24/7, Sirius XM 115, here with the Republicans that are now firing back at this move by Flake.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning, Rob. Jeff Flake, who adamantly opposed Roy Moore, has put his money where his mouth is by donating to Alabama's Democratic Senate candidate Doug Jones. Now, the move sparked a fiery response from former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon, who mocked Flake's donation size during a rally for Roy Moore last night. Take a listen.
Let's talk about Jeff Flake. Did he sign a check today, $100 to Jones, right? What do you say, put country ahead of party? Come on, brother, if you're going to write a check, write a check.
Well, the embattled Republican candidate Roy Moore now using this as a fundraising opportunity. He took to Twitter saying, calling all patriots, pro-amnesty, big government Republicans. Senator Jeff Flake just donated to my pro-abortion, open borders, anti-gun liberal opponent. I'm asking for 100 grassroots conservatives to step up and reject the D.C. establishment by donating. Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse also weighed in. He says this donation is a bad idea. It's possible to be against both partial birth abortion and child molestation. Happily, most Americans are. So there you have it.
Yeah.
That back and forth.
This is a weird situation in Alabama, especially for Republicans. What do you do in that situation?
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
Let's go to topic 2, a little easier to talk about. Hillary Clinton on top of your Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's right. A Christmas decoration idea for all the Democrats in your life. A UK-based company has come out with a Hillary Clinton-inspired Christmas tree topper, complete with angel wings. A lot of folks on social media talking about this one. I don't think this Twitter user is buying it. He says the Clinton one, you can smell corruption right at the top of the tree. And another Twitter user says, that's it. I'm done. I quit the internet. Pretty pricey, Rob. I saw these going for about $120 on Etsy.com. Yikes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
You gotta really want one.
Let's go to Rick Perry sitting in the sand in Saudi Arabia.
That's right.
How about that?
Energy Secretary Rick Perry, he mixed business with pleasure here. He posed for a series of pictures during his trip to Saudi Arabia. We have them for you right here. Here is one where he is holding a falcon. There you have it. And I think we have just one more. Toes in the sand right there. So there you have it.
Ah.
So maybe he'll be a model in his next
Very
life.
quaint. Yeah, that could be his next move. All right, Carly, thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.
26 minutes after the hour, fight for firearms. The House poised to pass a concealed carry gun bill today. So is this common sense legislation, or will it just cause more gun violence? We debate it with both sides coming up next.
Stop calling me names.
And Rudolph the Red-Nosed Racist? How the PC police are now trying to ruin this Christmas classic. Stay tuned. Justice is now preparing to hand over FBI agent Peter Strzok's anti-Trump text messages as new details emerge about his role in the Clinton email investigation and also the Trump-Russia investigation. Todd Pyro here with the very latest. Everybody can't wait to see these texts, Todd.
There's a lot here, Rob. House Intel Committee Chair Devin Nunes demanded those text messages between FBI counterintelligence agent Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, an FBI lawyer with whom Strzok was romantically involved. Both were part of Robert Mueller's Russia team, but are no longer. House investigators have long regarded Strzok as a key figure in the chain of events from 2016 when the FBI received that infamous anti-Trump dossier and launched that counterintelligence investigation into Russian meddling in the election. Strzok also oversaw the FBI's interviews with ousted National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, who, as you know, pleaded guilty on Friday to lying to FBI investigators in the Russia probe. And it was Strzok who changed James Comey's draft language in the Hillary Clinton decision from grossly negligent, that's a phrase that carries possible criminal penalties, to extremely careless, a phrase with really no real legal implications.
Peter Strzok's at the intersection of all of these players in all of these investigations. And it was so bad that Mueller fired him months ago, but has not cooperated with the House Intelligence Committee. They were not providing the documents. They were not going to make them, except for now that it's in the media, we're not going to make them available. Devin Nunes, Trey Gowdy been trying to get at this for a long, long time.
And Nunes has been assured those text messages will be turned over in the coming days. Rob?
It is very interesting, and changing that language, I think, is going to end up being a really big deal. But what about this other agent that they had? This guy was in the Russia investigation into Trump, and he had sent an email to, I guess, Sally Yates back when she was running the show, applauding her for not enforcing the travel ban. That's another very anti-Trump style message within the FBI.
I mean, look, as Americans, we are entitled to have our own opinions on things.
Sure.
But when you are working with the FBI on an investigation or investigations that are as closely watched as everything is right now, you may have these views, but don't put them in your DOJ email that can then be discovered in a litigation or a litigious situation like this. That's exactly what we have here in two different situations, and it really does raise questions about the underlings under Bob Mueller.
Yeah, it's a lot of politicization in that area right now, and Bob Mueller, it appears, is trying to do the right thing by getting rid of Strzok. So, all right, thank you so much, Todd. We appreciate that. Counselor. All right. Another dangerous close call at one of America's busiest airports. A packed passenger plane, I should say, nearly landing on the same runway where another jet was about to take off at JFK in New York City. A Volaris flight from Mexico was told to land on runway 13 left, but had lined up on 13 right instead. Air traffic control guiding the plane around the airport before anything happened. It could have been a real serious situation. This latest incident happening just 1 week after two planes clipped wings on the tarmac at JFK. One of those planes had to be towed back to the gate because of the damage. All right, incidents like these are on the rise on passenger planes.
What are you doing?
Come on, lady, let's go.
What are you doing?
You see it there. Airlines saying air rage is at an all-time high due to more drunk and violent travelers. According to newly released numbers, last year, airlines saw a 50% increase of people needing to be forcibly confined on a plane. That increase resulting in 169 passengers being removed from flights. Not a happy place to be on a jet these days. All right, the House poised to pass a bill today easing the burden on concealed carry owners crossing into states they don't have a permit in. So is this a good idea? Here now to debate this is NRA commentator Antonia Okafor and Democratic strategist Mustafa Tamiz. Thank you guys so much for coming on this morning. Mustafa, I'm going to start with you. There's a gun problem in this country. I don't think anybody denies that. But we have people here that are at least vetted to some extent by one of the states in this country that are legal gun owners in at least one state, taking guns into another state. Is that really the biggest problem that we have right now with guns? Is this really that big of an issue?
Well, that's the thing. Like, if we're trying to solve a problem that just makes no sense. Just think about this. Right after the shooting here in Texas, San Bernardino, Las Vegas, Sandy Hook, the response that you're getting from the Republican Congress is to pass a law that allows people to carry a weapon concealed. And then there's also a silencer bill that not only can carry this way, but if that other bill passes, you'll have a silencer when you shoot someone. That just doesn't make sense. It seems really tone deaf.
Yeah, the silencer thing, I'm not sure too many people would agree with at all. And I just like the bump stocks with the Las Vegas shooting. I think that was roundly accepted. Is why do we have these? Even Republicans said that. Over to you, Antonia. What do you say in response to that?
Well, I'd say first, it's not the silencer bill. It's a Hearing Protection Act, which they're not silencers, they're suppressors. So it just makes it easier for someone with a firearm to be able to go to the range and not have to worry about losing their hearing in a few years. So that's what, for one, that. But then also, the fact of the matter is that we're focusing on concealed carry owners. And those are law-abiding citizens just like me, just like average Americans who have this protection and this right that's protected by the Second Amendment in order to protect themselves, whether they are from Texas, like I'm from, or if they want to travel to Massachusetts, where I am currently right now.
Mustafa, what's your response to that? I mean, do we need some clarification here? Because some states are allowing people to carry a gun, and then you can drive right into another state and you can get arrested. We had one woman on a couple of weeks ago who spent like 50 days in jail.
Well, either we can, from the conservative viewpoint, talk about state rights, or we can talk about, states have no rights. And